Hi, I'm Marcus Skenderian. This is the second in a series of 4 videos that we're doing that highlights the different areas of Laguna Beach. And our last video, if you remember, we touched on the village area of Laguna. And today we're going to be focused on North Laguna. North Laguna has 8 different neighborhoods within it. And if you remember, again, in the village, we had 17 different neighborhoods that make up the village area of Laguna Beach. And I couldn't think of a better place to start this tour today than from Riddle Field. And Riddle Field, in most people's opinions who know Laguna, is probably the central focal point of North Laguna, and it's basically the sprocket that the rest of North Laguna branches off of. My goal today in our video is to show you various components of North Laguna and little pockets of North Laguna that make it unique and special, and why people like the various neighborhoods of North Laguna for the different reasons. Well, right now happens to be Wednesday, which is Broker Preview Day. Broker Preview Day is the day where we get to preview all the new listings that come to the market. So we're going to go take a look at a property at 856 Cliff Drive, close to Heisler Park, which is another really picturesque portion of North Laguna that people love. Come on in and let's go for a ride. All right, so we're at 856 Cliff Drive. We're in the middle of the North Laguna neighborhood of the area of North Laguna. $4 million house. Let's go on in and take a look. Little place out here. And North Laguna has a lot of places like you're going to see out here, these condominium complexes in this section near Heisler Park. You're going to see a lot of that. And homes along here will sell for, like this is $4 million. There's one down the street that sold for $45 million. We'll drive by that. I'll show you guys the differences of, the kinds of houses and price ranges that we're in. This is kind of the North Laguna neighborhood. And some of these properties along here, while they're not in gated communities, are still some of our most valuable and expensive real estate. In fact, the most expensive home that has sold on public record is right down here at 1101 Marine Drive, and it's an iconic piece of property in Laguna. The home is only like 2,300 square feet. That house sold for $45 million in 2018. Again, still the highest sale on public record in Laguna. That gives you a little bit of a view of North Laguna, the ocean side of PCH, and how exclusive these homes are. I'm gonna take you down to the southern portion of the North Laguna neighborhood. I thought this would be a great place to stop and take a look and give you a good vantage point of North Laguna. We're at the south end of Heisler Park, and Heisler Park basically runs along most of North Laguna along the water. These homes along here, they vary. I mean, that's a 3 condo complex right there. There's a bunch of multifamily properties mixed in with some of these single family homes. That house right there probably would go for $12 million, something like that, 12 to 15 million. These condos will go for 2 million, 1.5. But again, those are condos, they're smaller. They're not your single family house with as much square footage as some people are used to. But in terms of accessibility into the airport, into town, a lot of people love North Laguna because you don't have the perceived traffic that you have to deal with as you go through the middle of town. This is where the junior lifeguard take place every summer. This is their meeting point where all the kids get dropped off and picked up to start their day. During the summer, they'll have entertainment out here, sunset serenades in the park, and then out here is Rock Pile Beach. It's more just to see the sheer beauty of all this, and Rock Pile gets its name from, as you can imagine, Rock Pile. A lot of multifamily residences up here, apartments, condominiums. There's a few single family houses in this area, but most of this is multifamily in this part of North Laguna. We used to come here when I was a little kid. I have some of my oldest memories are from coming to Heisler Park and doing family barbecues and picnics and birthday parties down here. So anyway, it's just a super cool little place. Even just doing this video today, when I'm doing this, makes me slow down enough to slow down and smell the roses, so to speak. I mean, we're just looking at some pelicans diving into the water, which I missed that. I wouldn't have seen that today had I not slowed down enough to appreciate the beauty that we have along here. And we're walking out onto a place now that's called Monument Point, and I'm pretty certain it was dedicated to all the people in Laguna Beach who have lost their lives and served in all the wars and battles that we have experienced over the years. So I wanted to show you this because to me, this is one of the most unbelievable views and perspectives that we have in town. Looking back, looking south along the coast, I mean, look at that. Pretty insane. That's the property over there that I was telling you. When you look across and you see that profile of all the palm trees over there down on that point, that's that home at 1101 Marine Drive I was telling you about that sold for $45 million back in 2018. This is a focal point of North Laguna. You can see all of North Laguna is basically in front of me now. That's a view of Heisler Park, the California Riviera. Now let's go take a look at what living in North Laguna is really like. I'm going to take you into the neighborhood of North Laguna and show you some of the houses, the neighborhoods, and the community. So let's hop in the golf cart, go for another ride. All right, so we're on the very south side of the North Laguna area. So just to my right begins the Laguna Village area, and just down there is the 133, which is Laguna Canyon Road, and just north of that defines North Laguna. So now we're in North Laguna. We're on Astor Street. This is the Earth Cafe right to my left, which used to be the Cottage, one of our favorite old-time restaurants here in town. Eiler Larson, the original greeter, used to frequent there. And now we're into what's called the tree streets of North Laguna. Tree streets because most of the names of these streets are named after trees. Poplar, cypress, locust, aster. People love the tree streets because they're just north of downtown, so you don't have to deal with what people perceive as a lot of traffic and crowds that downtown can bring, and accessibility in and out of town, super convenient. So people who travel a lot, go to the airport a lot, like living on the north side of town. And so you've got more traditional type of architecture, little cottages, super cute gardens. Here's a new house that was redone recently. One of our clients moved in there. That home, we just did an evaluation on that for him, and that sits on 2 lots, and we valued that at about $7 million. So the houses in North Laguna range from, you can get condos for about $1 million, $1.5 million, even less in some cases, on up to houses that are roughly 10, 15, 20 million in some cases. This house here on our right, that's listed right now at $3,650,000. Just recently redone, very well done.
Where do you see the Laguna Beach market heading in the next few months or 6 months?
Well, I think a lot of what's going to happen in our market here in Laguna is largely going to be dictated on what happens with inflation numbers and what happens with the interest rates. And Laguna is not getting any bigger. There's no empty raw land waiting to be developed. So the uniqueness of Laguna, the rarity of it, I think has always been what sets it apart from some of the other neighboring communities. So I think the value, regardless of what the economy is doing, is going to continue to go up and up and up. We're in the 400 block of Myrtle Street right now, and the 400 block is a big difference between the 400 block and the 300 block. 400 block is typically single-family houses, longer-term owner-occupied residences. You get down to the 300 block of these tree streets, there are more multifamily houses in there, there's more rentals in there. So the desirability from the 300 block to the 400 block, there's a big difference in most people's eyes. Hop in, let's go for a ride. I got to show you a little bit more North Laguna before we go to Emerald Bay and Irvine Cove for our next stops. That broker preview that we're at down on Cliff Drive, you could see the goats up on the hill behind us. And after the fires of 1993, Laguna took all sorts of different measures to help prevent fires from occurring here again. And one of its more creative measures was the installation of these goats. But essentially, they'll put a herd of goats at various points around town to help eat all the fire-friendly brush, shrubbery, and we saw them up on the hills up here. Oh, there they are, we see them. Cool. So on our way to Emerald Bay, I wanted to give you guys a little offshoot of another little neighborhood called Victoria Highlands. Essentially, Victoria Highlands are all these streets that run above Hillcrest, and Hillcrest runs parallel to PCH all the way through North Laguna. But a home like this, new home like this right now, that would probably sell for $10 to $12 million right here. Same here. And again, you've got just huge views out the front of those houses. And now let's go take a look at probably the 2 most well-known gated communities in North Laguna, for sure the 2 most well-known, Emerald Bay and Irvine Cove. We're going to take a look at Emerald Bay first. Emerald Bay is a community, it straddles PCH, so there's homes on the uphill side and the downhill side. There's a tunnel that goes under PCH that gives you access to all the beachside properties. Now, up there, a large portion of those houses up on the hill were all destroyed in the fire of 1993, and so most of those have been rebuilt. The sales prices range, $5 million is low today, and the high sale price price last year in Emerald Bay, I think in the history of Emerald Bay occurred, which was $43,500,000. Emerald Bay, one of the nice parts is it's got nice parks, it's got tennis courts. A lot of people love the tennis program that they have. Beach access, that's what I think separates Emerald Bay from a lot of the other communities. And this is what people love the most about Emerald Bay, is how easy it is just to get to the beach, to pull up. This is all golf cart parking. You know, again, the people who love Emerald Bay there's a real sense of community here. A lot of family-friendly activity. Volleyball courts is a big deal. Tennis is a big deal. Swimming is a big deal here. You got stand-up paddle storage as well along here. Like we talked in our last video about, the shoreline in Laguna, especially this past year, has been impacted by the ocean activity more than any year that I can remember. And the exposed rock and the shallow depths of all the water along our beaches and coves in the center of Laguna has been a lot less than it is here. So you still have a ton of sand, a ton of place to stay, kind of like what we talked about down on Victoria Beach in our last video. There's a lot of depth, there's a lot of sand, and just a lot of room for people to gather. I would say that one of the things that Emerald Bay is known for more than anything is its 4th of July celebration. This place is insane. It turns into its own little city down here, but just a gorgeous setting, peaceful, very comfortable, very safe. And as we cruise through Emerald Bay, here's some more tennis courts that are off of the Central Park. Again, one of the things I think people love most about Emerald Bay is this whole family communal feel that it has. I think they take great pride in that kind of environment that they have here. Here's their volunteer fire station as well, which is kind of cool. All volunteer fire station. We've also got the pool, and there's also some more tennis courts back there as well. Gives you a brief overview of Emerald Bay and what makes it so special. Again, 550 homes in here. A bunch of them were displaced by the fire in 1993, and ever since then, Emerald Bay's been under construction and enjoying a resurgence. And as property values in Orange County have increased over those years, Emerald Bay has definitely enjoyed the benefit of that. Now I'm on my way north. We're headed to the next community north, which is Irvine Cove, another gated community on the water here. It bridges PCH, so there's some homes on the right-hand side, inland side, and then some are on the ocean side of PCH. So now in Irvine Cove, we entered on the inland side of PCH. Now we're going to go under the bridge and go underneath PCH to the ocean side. But Irvine Cove, fun fact, was another community similar to what Monarch Bay is. It was originally on leased land. All of these homes were at one point leased land. That lease expired, I believe, in the early 70s, and all of the ownership then went to fee ownership. And so what that means is now you're not leasing the land, you actually own it, like most properties that people are used to owning. With that, the appreciation levels when it switched from leased land to fee ownership just blew up. What's happened is Irvine Cove has become one of the most valuable and most expensive pieces of property in all of Orange County. So we're at the beach entrance of Irvine Cove right now, and so what I thought I'd do is kind of give you an overall perspective on it. You know, the things I enjoy most about Irvine Cove, let's compare it to, say, Emerald Bay, for example. I feel like the streets are wider, the architecture, the building envelopes have a much lower profile, so you don't feel as vertically challenged when you're in the community. There feels like there's a lot of airspace, a lot of breathing room, and sometimes when I'm in Emerald Bay at certain areas, it feels a little congested. I don't feel that necessarily. Irvine Cove has 110 homes in it versus Emerald Bay has 550. So completely different makeup down here. The other part is the beach isn't quite as accessible as Emerald Bay. So that's a little bit of a difference, but I also think that makes it a little bit more private too. So there's some benefit there, but this cove is unbelievable. I mean, to me, if I had one beach to pick in all Laguna to go to every day, and if I had that choice, it would be here for sure. There's no rocks in the water, all sand bottom, super comfortable for swimming, lots of sand, never is crowded. You know, I mean, look at this. This is private. Again, you probably won't be able to get anything for under $5 or $6 million in Irvine Cove, even on the inland side of Irvine Cove. And then on this side, you're probably up to $60, $70 million if you can even find that. This is the end of Irvine Cove here. that then goes back up to Emerald Bay, which is a unique feature of those homes, is that they're in Emerald Bay, but they look into Irvine Cove. This home behind us was on the market, I believe, for 60 million. I gotta double check that to know my facts, but I'm pretty certain that was 60 million. Okay guys, just a little bit about me in case you don't know. My name's Marcus Skenderian. I've been selling real estate here in Laguna Beach since 2006, full time. My father is an architect, very well known in town. My mom sold real estate here in Laguna for over 40 years. I've lived in 30 different houses in Laguna. I'm on my 30th house right now in Laguna. So if anybody's gonna be able to bring you the most relevant, important, and valuable information about Laguna Beach, I don't think there's anybody who's more connected than we are. So please like or subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.